Hey everybody. Okay, so I know using new software is a pain in the butt. So what I'd like to do is try to navigate you guys through just some of the processes that I think you guys might have to do. Okay, so first off, there's a little confusion. There's like 12 ways to load data into R. The way I'm doing it is through a public CSV file that's hosted on the web somewhere that I'm referencing with a URL. So I want to show you how to do that real fast. So I'm here in hockeyreference.com. It's just a website I use generally for data. So I've got the games. They've only been playing for like a week, so there's not much here. But what I'm going to do is I grabbed this and I got a table as CSV. So then I'm able to select the data that's here in this table, and I'm going to copy, and I'm actually going to copy and paste, as simple as that. So I got my data there, and I'm going to navigate to GitHub. I have a ton of repositories and all these things, but let's do a new repository, and let's call it our test. It's important that I make it public, I don't really care about all these. You can add a README file. I don't know what the get.ignore is, and I don't know what the license is. So I just make it public, and I'm just testing for a video. So I'm going to create this repository. Fantastic. And then I'm going to, let's see, what do I want to do? I want to add a file, right? Let's see, cancel. I'm sorry, guys. I should have initiated a README. That's what I'm struggling with here. There we go. Okay, there, I did a README. Okay, whatever. I should have done that to begin with. Okay, now this looks more like what I'm used to. Alright, remember, software's hard. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to add a file, and I'm going to create a new file. Remember, I can create a new file because I have all of that data stored in my clipboard. Now, if you can't do this, if this doesn't work for you for whatever reason, you can download and upload. There's nothing special about that. Notice I go ahead and save this as hockey.csv, and I'm going to commit that new file. Boom. So we see that file there. If I click on it, if I click on that, that's my changes that I made to the file. And if I click on this, that is the actual file. Now, one of the things that I'm going to use here is the raw. So there's this raw, but what I'm going to use here is the link to the raw. The raw gives me just this data, none of the extra stuff with it, none of the windows. You guys see that? None of the windows, none of that kind of stuff. So this link will be important, and I'm copying and pasting that. I will say I don't actually have to do this, but this is the way I generally do it. GitHub only supports certain size files, so if you guys have a big file, you'll have to host your file somewhere else. So that's sometimes a pain. Okay, next I'm going to go to RStudio. RStudio.cloud, and you see I've got a whole bunch of projects here. I am going to do a new project from a Git repository. So it asked me for the URL of my Git repository, and I don't remember it. I think it was RTest, but I need to get the capitalizations right. So let's go back to GitHub. And let's go to my repositories. I wish I remembered what its name was. Maybe if I click that one, no. It was like RTest or something, right? RTest. There it is. There's the URL for it. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that. I'm going to click OK. And it's going to prepare a project for me. What's nice about the project, guys, is that everything will be stored from the RStudio cloud. It will be stored directly in there. So RStudio is a little buggy. I'm going to say that right off. If you see a counter that quits, RStudio Cloud is not going to give you a error message all the time. So I do find myself that I have to reload, and it won't tell me that I have to reload. So be aware of that. I will say I also have it on my desktop, but I really like the cloud workspaces because it gives you an opportunity. Now you see it did load that CSV file right here. So technically that data set is sitting there. You can also do this import data set as well, but you'll notice I don't have one at all right now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new file, and I want an R Markdown file. When you generate these R Markdown files, it's going to create, it's going to autofill a few things. I need to put some packages on. You only have to do this once, but it always takes a minute here. By the way, everything you put into the GitHub will be represented here. There's this git ignore, there's the R history, and then there's this new project thing. So R is doing its work here. It's loading some packages. Again, you only have to load packages once, but because this is a new environment, I have to do it. Alright, so I'm going to give it a title. Let's call it 2021 Hockey. I seem to do one of these every year. Maybe I like hockey too much. By the way, guys, this is where you can decide if you want an HTML, which is a web link, PDF, which you guys should know what that is, portable document, or Microsoft Word. I prefer to use HTML or PDF, but this is what your project would knit as. So there you go. I click OK. I will say that you see the title and stuff like that, and you see some stuff here. I'm going to quickly delete stuff because I don't care about it. Boom. There it goes. And then I'm going to do something that's really important here. This is where I've seen most people who are having trouble today. This is where they're having trouble. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do data equals, and I'm going to do read .csv. What this is going to do is it's going to allow me to go get that raw data and put it in there. This is going to read my data file in. So if you want to play your little thing there it goes, boom. And you see right here, it's loaded that, and it's called it data. Okay, so hockey rules, I am testing. And so then what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to make another R environment. There you go. It makes a little R, I forget what they call it, snippet or something. And I'm going to do the head command. Now I call it the data file data. And so you see that it recognizes that as a data file. That's what this means. It's a data set. And if I hit play, boom, there it goes. All right, guys. I know this is not going to be this easy for you guys. It's a pain in the butt. By the way, my data file is a little corrupted because these are the real headers, and those weren't the headers. If we go back to the GitHub, I could edit that in the CSV, or I could work pretty hard in R to make that work right. So I'd probably change that in the CSV. I want this to say teams and things like that. These x.1, x.2, x.3, those are not good headers, right? It's not very descriptive. Really, it's games played, it's wins, it's losses, it's overtimes losses. That's what I would want. Okay, so last thing then, let's see how we get this to Git. So if I go to Git, see, I think I'm already like connected to Git, which is kind of a pain here. So if I go to Git, I'm going to do this I'm going to stage both of these, and I'm going to commit. When you stage them, I stage them, I see my R project and my git ignore, but you know what I don't see, I haven't done this right yet, is I don't see this file. So I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to give it a name. This is the name that's going to show up over in GitHub as well. So let's call it Hockey Starter. So I'm going to click Save, and it changes that name here. And now you see that hockeystarter.rmd is something that I can do with Git. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go to Commit. Commit is how you track your changes. You see how all this is green? It's because I made all these changes. You have to give it a commit message. You can make these as descriptive as you like. And I click Commit, and it does all those changes. Now, this is the important part. That ranks your changes, that puts your changes into GitHub. It does not change the file on GitHub. To change the file on GitHub, I have to click this push. Push will send that file to GitHub, and then that file is your new master on GitHub. So that's what I'm doing. So it asks for a username. So I do my username, and it asks for my password. And I think this is not going to work. Oh, there it goes. Everything is up to date. So that did work. And I'm good to go. Maybe. Everything is up to date. All right. Oh. I've not done this correctly yet. Okay. All right. So I'm not quite there yet. I didn't make my commit. What I need to do is I need to do these commands. Please tell me who you are. The computer's like, no, you can't do this yet. Okay, so I need to do those. Let me show you how you do those. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that window. Oh, man. So I'm going to go down here to the terminal. And in the terminal, I'm going to run those commands. I'm sorry, guys. I got to go back and actually look at what those commands were. Oh, man. I'm running out of time. So those commands are git config, sorry guys, there's a 15-minute limit on this video, so git config global user dot email and Jacob@easy. Maybe I didn't do that right. Oh yeah, I didn't spell global right. So that gave it my email, and I got to do this one too. By the way, again, you only have to do this once. So there's a lot of setup that you only have to do once. That's why I don't remember how to do it each time. User.name. And this is your username. Okay. So now I should be able to commit. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. I made the commits, and everything is up to date. So let's navigate back quickly here to GitHub. Well, it doesn't show on my GitHub yet. GitHub always takes a minute to update. So it will update eventually, I hope. I'm right at my limit here. Don't get too worried about it not coming on. I think it should work here eventually. Okay guys, so that was a lot. I know this is pretty tricky, but hopefully you guys can get this all figured out and get this working for you. Alright, keep working hard.